Hi, I'm SherriRademacher. I want to share about my own experience with discrimination. I hadn't seen a doctor in about 3 years, and I'd had a cold for about 2 months. I wanted to be healthy before I flew on a vacation to Mexico. I made a call to my insurance company to ask if I had the same doctor. I did not. I proceeded to tell them I wanted a doctor whose office was close to the college where I worked. That worked out, so I called to make an appointment that same day. The receptionist said that since I was deaf, I had to wait 3 days. I asked them why, and they said they had to contact an interpreter 3 days in advance. I explained I could go without an interpreter so I could see the doctor right away. I made it clear I was fine with having no interpreter, and I went in for my appointment. I spoke for myself, and I told the receptionist my name and who I was there to see, and the woman looked at me dumbfounded and asked me if I was deaf, and I came alone. I affirmed the obvious. She asked again if I was deaf and if I came without an interpreter. A bit taken aback, I repeated I had come alone. Stunned, the woman asked the same questions again. I gave the same answers, and it seemed as if she couldn't believe it. Then the woman told me to follow her, and I sat in the lobby waiting to be called. As I sat, the woman stood directly behind me, keeping a close eye on me. And when my name was called, I went into a small room just to fill out the forms required of new patients. The woman who processed my information communicated with me just fine. The receptionist felt compelled to pointedly inform the woman that I was deaf. The woman taking my information ignored her, and we got along fine. We didn't need to resort to using paper and pen, and an interpreter wasn't needed. The receptionist couldn't believe her eyes and went back to the front desk. Once the paperwork was finished, I went back out to wait to be called by the nurse. When I was called, we went into the exam room, and the nurse asked about my symptoms. We were able to talk without the use of an interpreter or even writing, except for when I had to write out the name of a prescription for a skin problem. The doctor turned out to be very good looking. Ah, it was too bad we were both married. The exam went well without any problems with communication. When I went into the hallway, I reflected on how well the appointment went and found it annoying that the front desk receptionist was stunned that I was deaf and didn't need an interpreter. 3 days later, I got a call from the nurse saying they gave me the wrong prescription. I said it was fine, I'd had no side effects but would change medications. Then I told her about the receptionist, and I asked her advice. She suggested contacting hospital administration, who was responsible for complaints. So I did, and they apologized for the receptionist's behavior. They explained that because I was a new patient, she might have felt an interpreter would have provided the best access. And I haven't gone to that doctor because I don't want to see that woman again. It's odd, because she had a prosthetic hand, yet she looked down on me as if I weren't bright because I was deaf. I've never forgotten that experience of discrimination.